August 3rd. If I speak in the tongues of men or of angels, but do not have love, I am only a resounding gong or a clanging cymbal. If I have the gift of prophecy and can fathom all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have a faith that can move mountains, but do not have love, I am nothing. If I give all I possess to the poor, and give over my body to hardship that I may boast, but do not have love, I gain nothing. 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verses 1 to 3. The church in Corinth had many problems, and Paul was addressing these in his 2 letters. One of the main issues that was causing strife was pride, jealousy, disunity, and confusion in the area of spiritual gifts. Some gifts, especially tongues, were exalted above others. Those with the more obviously supernatural gifts were given higher status in the church. Worship services had become disorderly because of the misuse of spiritual gifts for personal glory rather than God's purposes. Paul attributed much of these problems to the believer's ignorance of spiritual gifts. So in 1 Corinthians, he devotes 2 full chapters to the topic of spiritual gifts and how they are to be exercised. And yet, aware of the danger of gifting being exalted and promoted at the expense of character, he separates these 2 chapters with his classic essay on love. In effect, Paul is saying that the fruit of the Spirit is more important than his gifts. The first fruit of the Spirit is love, agape. In fact, some commentators feel that love is the only fruit, and the other 8 qualities that are mentioned are simply the outworking of love. Paul refers to 6 prominent spiritual gifts in this passage and declares that they are worthless if we do not have love. Speaking in tongues without love is as good as making meaningless sounds, no matter how loud. Prophecy, knowledge, and mountain-moving faith are nothing without love. Sacrificial giving and suffering persecution for Christ do not gain us any reward if we do not love. Today, let's take a moment to examine ourselves. Do we take pride in our gifts, whether spiritual or natural? Do we exalt performance over character? Is there love in the things that we do, whether for God or for others? Or are we doing it all for ourselves? Using our spiritual gifts, natural abilities, in fact every resource that we have for God's purposes is amazing. But let's not forget Paul's exhortation that precedes this passage. I will show you a still more excellent way, one of the choicest graces and the highest of them all, unselfish love. Today's prayer: Lord Jesus, help me to live in this most excellent way of love.